Roll call, I believe.
Yes. Commissioner Shia,
Yes, present.
Commissioner Greer, Commissioner Jackson, Commissioner Fricks,
Present.
Commissioner Lucas White, Commissioner Thornton,
Present.
Commissioner Marshall,
Present.
Commissioner McCready,
Present.
Commissioner Davis.
Present.
Thank you.
Okay, and I just want to again state that Commissioner Jackson and Commissioner Greer did advise that they would not be able to attend this evening. And Commissioner Thornton, if you would like to begin with a call to order.
Yes, and so as far as chairperson, I do some follow-up to share with the commissioners based on our, I hear an echo and I'm not sure if
Yeah.
that's happening.
Do you have on two audio? sources?
I don't believe so. Let me see. I don't believe so.
But does anybody else have two audio sources on?
Okay. Let's check mine. I don't believe I do.
I'm sorry,
Okay.
who's on the phone with the last digits 4-5? Is that a commissioner or a guest? Just want to make sure.
That's Commissioner Shia.
Okay. We might need you to
Okay, we
mute
may
your
need to
phone, Commissioner Shea.
I'm sorry?
We might need you to mute your phone.
Oh, okay.
So I did have the opportunity for those who attended the last commission meeting that we had in Towson. We know that we were joined by a number of guests. The first was our the executive director of the Maryland Commission on Civil Rights, shared a plethora of information about their work with us and updates on what we call the state of the work. And we also were blessed to have with us some representation from the county. We had our county administrative officer. We also had the chief of human services with us, as well as another county staffer who came to support our work. And as mentioned, I had the opportunity, I believe the very next day, if not 2 days later, to meet with Ramona, who's the director of our Human Resources Department, who is also at this point overseeing our work and the work of this office. And I had the opportunity to cover all of the questions that we had assembled at that previous meeting. And so while some things are still in transition and in the works, I was able to discover from her that there will be some intention around moving forward the appointments for those that we have interviewed and who are duly eligible to join the commission to fill the vacant positions, including those youth members concerned about. And so anything I share with you is now a couple of weeks old. And so we'll allow David to give us whether or not actualized or any updates. But that was one thing we discussed. We additionally discussed a budget that was allotted for the work of the department and the work of the Human Relations Commission, because I know that was in question as to whether or not we had some dedicated budget. And the answer to that had by that time been discovered to be yes. And so there was budget not only for this year, but there was some existing carryover budget from the previous year, previous department administrator that was left behind. And so at the time of my conversation, we were trying to determine what those numbers were and what the criteria was around utilizing it for the work of the commission. And so hopefully that is something that David can add to, or is in the works to present to us. One of the things that should be covered, as it is covered for other commissions like ours, is the refreshments that are served at our public meetings. And so that is something that will be able to be picked up, it's my understanding, as we move forward with our in-person meetings. The last question that I believe had a response that's useful for us is that we had inquired about whether we could seek out corporate sponsors for the upcoming event that we've been strategizing around, and the answer to that was we can. So those were some accomplishments in that conversation that I was proud to have. There was a reiteration of support for the commission's work and David's work and the department. There was acknowledgement of, and I don't know if there's been any movement on this, but to fill the vacant positions that had been posted in this office, so that we can have those, a willingness to, in the interim, while she was acting as interim director for our department, to attend our meetings. And so I don't know, because I can't see if Ms. Ramona is on now or will be soon, but hopefully she will. And then we can ask any additional questions we have her, as far as supporting some of the been working on and some of the work that we're trying to move forward. Lastly, just as part of the chair's report before we move on, I was able to memorialize a lot of the conversation we had in the room at our last meeting, and some of the tenets of the conversation I had with her in a commentary article for the African newspapers. And so if that hasn't been provided to commissioners, we're going to ask David or Bibios to please send that link out so that we can see. But I thought it was important, once we discovered where this work stands in Baltimore County and what the commitments were around it, for us to memorialize that and to share that great and wonderful news with the general public and our constituents. And so that's been done as well. And with that, I'll close this report and turn it back over for the rest of the agenda.
Thank you, Commissioner Thornton. And I do want to, with my report, I do want to address the few items that I did get some feedback on. So to reiterate, the vacancies that exist, the administrative office or the county executive's office is looking at those. They had some follow-up questions for me a few days after our last meeting, about the student candidates, which I answered and, cleared up any kind of questions or concerns that they had. So those are being looked at. We still don't have word. I do have, I would say, a new candidate in the hopper. We just need to reach out to him and set up an interview. And then that will be also another recommendation that goes across the street after that interview. In terms of the budget, I really just have the same information that you do at this point, Commissioner Thornton, that there is a budget, and that we have to go through the process of sitting down with the budget analyst assigned to the Division of DEI to figure out exactly what that budget is and should be. Let's see. Part of my update, just want to brief you on our numbers. In terms of complaints, let's see. And as of today, we are at 11 intakes for the year of 2025, 11 complaint intakes. One was public accommodations, 2 were employment, 8 are housing. In terms of ongoing investigation status, and that could be a wide range in terms of the status of the investigation or the stage of the investigation. We have 6, 3 employment and 3 housing. In terms of completed investigations and case closures, at this point we have 5.
May I ask a quick question?
Yes, ma'am.
When you speak about budget, and then also chairperson mentioned there's a carryover from last year. So will our budget be aside from the carryover, be increased by the carryover, or will the carryover be included in our budget?
It should be,
As she explained it to me, it will be included. And so there's an allotted annual budget that's budgeted in with the county's budgeting practice, and that the carryover from last year should be added to that additionally for our usage.
Okay. In any estimated time on when we will know, like what we can use for the different subcommittee events?
We were waiting on that budget analyst, but it's been have been about a month since we had this meeting because it was directly after our last committee. We can do some follow up since we haven't that hasn't been identified yet.
yeah, but I'll definitely talk with Director Coleman to find out when we can get some more information about the budget to share with you all and to move forward on the
Thank
planning
you.
that we have.
Thank you.
And
David, also, did you know if there have been, you talked about commission vacancies, has there been any movement on the internal vacancies?
did find out is that the position that we thought we were going to lose, we're not going to lose. So as it stands, HRC itself consists of 3 positions, myself as the program manager and 2 compliance specialists. Bibios is one. Previously, you all knew Ashley Elliott, who transitioned out of that role. She got a promotion to work with the CRRC. So there's at this moment, there's 1 position that's open, but it's not posted yet.
And plus the director role.
Yes, absolutely. Which is you got to remember that's a dual role. That's a dual role with the chief of the Division of Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion.
Commissioner Davis, you had your hand raised. I just want to make sure that you got to ask your question.
Thank you. Yeah, I didn't want to interrupt, but I was just wondering because I think my computer cut out when we were talking about inquiries that were made about corporate sponsorship. Did you say that we could or could not have corporate sponsorship?
She indicated that we could.
Okay, thank you.
And Bibios, would you like to talk about the outreach opportunities?
Absolutely. So we do have an outreach opportunity that is happening at Holt Park this Saturday between 11 to 3. It's our drag bunch bingo, which is being held by the Park Recreations and Park from 11 to 3. And then on June 19th, which is Thursday, we have our Juneteenth celebration, which is also being held by Park Recreations and Park at the Benjamin Banneker Park from 3 to 8 p.m. You do have to register for the Pride celebration. So I had sent out the flyers in the email that I sent out today. So you do have to register for Pride, but you do not have to register for the Juneteenth event. So you can come in as you are. We do have a table at both events, and we will be giving out Chromebooks. And we will also be sharing our surveys for the CRC and the DEI survey for the equity assessment.
Question from Commissioner Fritz.
Yes. So to elaborate on that, giving out Chromebooks, what are the requirements for the Chromebooks? Like giving out to keep or to do an
Yes, it is
assessment?
to keep. There's requirements where you have to, let me look up the requirements.
Because there's no registration required for Juneteenth.
So you do have to register. We are registering people for the Chromebook. So you do have to have like a certain level of income. You may use SNAP benefits, VA benefits. If you have, I want to say it's the Pell Grant.
Mm.
when you were registered for school. So there's different requirements that are needed for you to be awarded the Chromebook. So you do have to meet those guidelines or those requirements first, and then you'll be able to get a Chromebook. We gave them out last year, but these are some leftover Chromebooks from last year. So we do have a limited supply. I think we only have like 50, but we want to make sure we give them out this year. So these are, I believe, the Chromebooks from the ARPA funds.
Thank you.
And with that, I believe that concludes the HRC administrative staff report.
Can I ask just one follow-up question on that? Is there any written communication around the Chromebooks? I'd love to be able to promote that as well.
I do have a flyer. I can send that flyer out to the commissioners if that's okay.
That'd be great. Thank
Okay.
you.
I'll send it out either today or tomorrow.
So as we move into the subcommittee reports, and we had some really, I think, exciting reports at the last meeting and saw how much hard work has been happening behind the scenes. We just want each of the subcommittees to note that our next meeting is not until September. And so we absolutely need to still stay connected and work through the summer, use email or other meetup methods to continue the subcommittee work so that we can meet our objectives this year. And with that, we'll ask for the representatives from any subcommittees who are here to report out. And even if it's just a restatement of where you are, great. Is anyone here? Oh, go ahead.
Yes, Freya Lucas White. And to just give restatements, and there's also some new development, but restatements last, me and Commissioner Frakes were part of the special event committee. We are planning a symposium that will happen in October. We plan to occupy the space of Randallstown's Community Center because they are in collaboration with us. This will be a panelist group, well, a panelist forum, and then we're also hoping to collaborate with other organizations within Baltimore County so that this can also be possibly used as a training initiative, as a professional development initiative, so that will encourage people to come out. It is on a Friday, so hopefully that's not a big deterrence for the public or even or professionals, a Friday before the holiday. In terms of new development, I did attend the MCCR outreach educational seminar today, and I did share about some of the great works that we're doing, and they shared that they would love for us to send them an email and be able to have a table and or participate in a panelist structure group with us. So I'll reach out to them in the next week or two, probably the next week, just to get it done.
That's awesome, Commissioner Lucas White and whoever else has been working on this initiative. And I'm not sure who you've been talking to over there, but you might even want to see how much further of how much more of a buy-in, I guess we could get from MCCR. In
And
terms of
also
like,
today they spoke highly of you as well.
well, thank you. No,
Yeah.
thank you. I mean, because this is kind of like what I've gone to, it's starting to sound like now in an MCCR hosted or co-hosted collaborative event that they do all around the state, where a lot of partners and stakeholders come out to these events. So if we can get kind of like that collaboration type of buy-in with them, and possibly, consider giving them some space to do something in this event, that could really enhance the profile of it and the engagement.
Agreed. Yes, I'll forward you the email once I do reach out to them so you can know kind of the traction we're having.
Okay, that would be great. Thank you.
I can give a brief update on our committee as well. So there are two things that we have been focusing on, and we have a meeting scheduled to continue the work upcoming. First, we've been looking at the Human Relations Commission brochure to ensure that both the language is updated and current, but also so that we can begin to make this more of an accessible document. So we're, in terms of accessibility, we're thinking about readability and making sure it's most people are able to read it, and also translation of materials. The other thing that we are doing is, and I suppose at this point this is going to be more focused given the break that we're taking on the fall and upcoming 2026 year, is we're looking at some additional webinars from an education standpoint that we can put on that deal with the sort of pillars of the Human Relations Commission. So housing, education, public accommodation, so forth. And so those are the main things that we're working on right now, but no major updates since the last meeting, but we should have some for the upcoming meeting.
And we'll make sure that during the summer we're going to continue to work. So we'll be operating more so via email, and then maybe try to schedule some time with Babios as well as David so we can come together in our presentation. It might also be a good opportunity for us to work with the Maryland Commission on Civil Rights as well, to get buy-in in that way, as well as any other partners. I've worked with Disability Rights Maryland in the past. So just trying to bring that together, and maybe, sometimes there's low attendance, over the summer. So it's probably better to do stuff in the fall because everyone's on vacation. But, we can have that conversation with you all to tell us what you think is best. I just know that over the summer, typically, sometimes you don't have as much attendance during the summer as you would in the fall. Thank you, Danielle.
Thank you.
And I know we had a robust report out at the last meeting about our community partnerships and engagement with our new database being built out, which is exciting. If there isn't anyone to report from that, we'll close committee reports and keep moving and kind of vow to stay connected on the work over the next couple of months. Okay, that's what we'll do.
Yeah, I'll touch base
so
with Commissioner Jackson just to
yes,
try to get a sense of, if anything's progressed or if he needs any help with anything.
absolutely. We have some time on the agenda for our district report outs or any, allied events, activities, or things that should be on our radar. So we'll open the floor for that.
I have to jump off a little earlier today, so I apologize. I am going to be meeting with Councilman Marks at the beginning of July. So if there is something that you would like me to have a conversation with him about as it relates to the Human Relations Commission, just to let me know. We don't have any other projects that I'm aware of right now that I can report out, but I just want to make sure that I share that information so that commissioners, chairwoman, that if there's something that you have, I'm happy to take that to him if you have any questions. Thank you.
Could I chime back in for a moment too? To address one of the things that you talked about at the last meeting, Commissioner Thornton, in terms of looking at Article 29. That definitely resonated. And we have a meeting, myself and Director Coleman, with representatives in the legal department to look at a few items. One of the things that are going to be pretty much the focus of that meeting is the source of income legislation. If you remember, I talked about how the precedent has been set in Baltimore County with a judgment having been done in the favor of the housing provider to basically be able to discriminate against someone like a voucher holder whose income does not meet the 3 times the full amount of the rent income eligibility threshold. So in light of that, I think it's important for us, our legislation, Baltimore County's legislation, to try to address it with some language, to create that as a prohibition to ensure that someone who has some form of guaranteed income is only going to be required to meet some sort of 3 times the rent calculation as it pertains to the portion of the rent that they're actually going to be responsible for paying. Um, and I was reminded of that because I see that on a federal level, that's one of the pieces of legislation that's been floating around, trying to add that to the Fair Housing Act, the source of income, but also in their proposed language, it does not include a prohibition to protect uh, potential applicants from being discriminated against in the same manner. So that's one of the things that we're going to talk about, and possibly a few other things as well, as it pertains to things that may need to be refined or added or better stated within Article 29.
And I think we do have, I think we learned that we have a rolling opportunity to submit amendment proposals. Was that my understanding?
That's pretty much the way I understand it, just based on how Article 29 is written.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Anyone else have anything?
But do understand too that any kind of amendment change, just like on any level of government, is a big push, requires a lot of time, timing in terms of getting it in front of the council and an affirmative vote to even have it done.
I'd like to hop in and say for District 6, I mean, we have Holt Park, so we are doing the Pride event. We also have a Overly Farmers Market that is focused primarily on providing food in a food desert. And this might be a good opportunity to share some of the work that the Human Relations Commission does with the team there. We're one of the smaller farmers markets, but we, accept SNAP benefits and folks who get benefits through, WIC for seniors. So it might be, I'm happy to take flyers once we get those printed out and make sure they're distributed among the folks out here.
What day is that event?
So it's every other Saturday. It started last Saturday, June 7th, and it runs all the way through October.
Okay, would it be helpful if I made goodie bags and
That would be amazing. Yeah, and I can get them to the right folks. I used to manage the market, and I still know the market manager, so I can just drop those off at her house.
okay, so I will do that so it won't be this Saturday coming up, it'll
Yeah,
be for next Saturday. Okay, I'll prepare
correct.
that and connect with you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll turn it back over to David for new business.
You're on mute, David.
Thank you, Bibios. There's no new business at this point. Still waiting for these approvals in terms of, as I talked about earlier with the vacancies. And the newest thing that we have are these outreach events that we've been approved for and looking forward to participating in.
I do believe, David, that we did say that we will be sending them some of the closed cases to review over the summertime.
Yeah, we did discuss that. So once we finalize, how we'll kind of approach the off season, then you'll get a notification. So that is one of the things that we floated around. Thank you for reminding me of that, Bibios.
I think that would be a great opportunity for us to dig in.
And I've also been kind of working on, haven't really finalized it either, but some exercises to kind of dig into Article 29 and some scenarios of how complaint cases would be approached and how they would be evaluated.
Yeah. Okay, this was like the easiest meeting ever, pretty
Mhm.
much. Anything else for the good of the order? All right. Hearing
I
no
will just say,
opposition.
I'm going to
Go ahead.
try to get out to this weekend's event. If I can get registered, I'm hoping there's still slots available. If not, I will make sure that my presence is felt in the community otherwise, but I will definitely report back if I am able to attend the drag bingo, or excuse me, event this weekend.
And yeah, and I don't think it's a capacity issue. I think it's more of a safety issue, because of threats that come, into the
Understood.
community. Yeah. And don't forget Benjamin Banneker, June 19th.
Absolutely.
Okay. With that, we will officially next meeting at 6:38 p.m. Thank you all.
Thank you very much, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank
Okay.
you. Thank you. Have a nice
Right.
evening.
Thank you.
Okay, bye-bye. Bye.
Bye-bye.